Hello viewers, let us understand the Constitution 131st Amendment Bill of 2026, that is also known as the Delimitation Bill of 2026. This bill was presented under the Ministry of Law and Justice. First of all, let us understand that the Constitution provides that seats in Lok Sabha must be allocated to states in proportion to their population. Let us understand also that it requires the constituency should be redrawn, that is the definition of delimitation. Let us understand the historical aspect. Through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment in 1976, the total number of seats of each state in Lok Sabha and the total number of seats in state assemblies were frozen according to the 1971 census. This freeze was initially applicable up till 2000, but from 84th Constitution Amendment in 2001, this extended the freeze for next 25 years after the first census after 2026. This was done as a motivational measure to enable the state governments to pursue the agendas of the population stabilization. Now, through the 106th Constitution Amendment in 2023, and this introduced the reservation for the one-third of seats of women in Lok Sabha and state assemblies. But the point is, this reservation will be based on the first census after the commencement of the 2023 Act. The reference date for the ongoing census is March 1st, 2027. Considering that the census to be completed based on in 2027, still it would require some amount of time, that is 2 to 3 years, to present its data, and it is highly unlikely that the delimitation exercise based on this 2027 census will be completed before the 2029 elections. The three bills that were presented in Lok Sabha were the first Constitution 131st Amendment Bill, the UT Amendment Bill, and the Delimitation Bill of 2026. These bills were increased the size of Lok Sabha, and it also enabled the delimitation based on 2011 census, and also enabled the reservation for women to be based on this year's and this data's delimitation. We must also understand one thing, that the bill also present the same thing for the union territories as well as for the concerned union territories having the legislative assemblies of their own. And you must know that the three union territories, that is the Jammu and Kashmir, Puducherry and the Delhi's constituencies, will also be applicable under this women reservation bill. We must also understand one thing very clearly, that the aim of the government was to ensure that women get reservation based on the in 2029 and in the 2029 Lok Sabha elections. But due to certain reasons and due to that one issue in that 106th Constitution Amendment that required the first census after this act, this was the major issue, and this bill also removes that criteria. We will understand the key features of this bill that were presented, and this would enable you to write a good answer in your exams, because this key features will also give you certain aspect and certain opinions about this bill. First is the delimitation to be based on the proportion of to population. The Constitution Amendment Bill reverts the principle of each state having seats in the proportion to its population. This implies that the Lok Sabha constituencies across all states will have roughly the same population. Second is the Parliament to decide that which census to be used for delimitation. The Constitution specifies that delimitation be carried out after every census, but this bill gives the power to this Parliament to decide on what basis and what census data they would have to form the Delimitation Commission. This bill implies that 2011 census will be used for next delimitation. This bill also signifies that the maximum number of seats in Lok Sabha would be increased from 550 members up to 850, with 815 members from state and 35 members from union territories. This bill also gives that commencement of reservation for women to be based on the criteria of the delimitation that was based on the 2011 census. So this removes the criteria of the requirement of the first census after 2023 Act. Second is appointment of the Delimitation Commission. The Delimitation Bill of the 2026 empowers the central government to constitute a Delimitation Commission to carry out delimitation. The commission will comprise of first the chairperson, who is also has been a Supreme Court judge. Second is the Chief Election Commissioner, and the election commissioner that is nominated by the CEC, and third is the state election commissioner of the concerned state. The central government will appoint the chairperson. You have to remember all the key features that were presented in this bill. First was the delimitation to be based on the proportion to population. Second is that parliament to decide that what census to be used. Third is the increase in the maximum number of seats and the consequent provisions. Now let us understand the issues that are need to be concerned. First is the no uncertainty on periodicity of delimitation. As in the constitution it is mentioned that article 81st and 82nd provides that delimitation of seats in Lok Sabha will be undertaken after every census and will be based on the latest census data. But this constitution amendment bill removes this complication and removes this compulsion and gives the parliament the power that parliament could make these decisions with a simple majority. Given that the government will have a simple majority in the Lok Sabha, and the amendment weakens the Rajya Sabha's relative control over bills that were presented, the government could have the power to decide the timing of delimitation and which census to be used under this. Second issue that this bill have, and you can say the opposition has raised, is that relative share of seats in the Lok Sabha is set to change. We all know that the bill removes the provision and allows the next delimitation to be based on the 2011 census. So this change may lead to significant shift in the share of seats in the total seats in Lok Sabha. For example, if Lok Sabha continues to have the current strength, the Tamil Nadu seats will come down from 39 to 32 and Kerala seats would go from 20 to 15. But when we talk about UP, its state seats will increase from 80 to 89 and Bihar from 40 to 46. Rajasthan would also get an increase. This change in the relative seat share will be maintained even if the total seats in Lok Sabha is increased. Now, another issue is the increase in the size of the Lok Sabha. There would be change in the size from 550 to 850 members, but this bill doesn't mention any kind of increment in the number of the MPs of Rajya Sabha. So this would create an issue related to the Lok Sabha to Rajya Sabha ratio that would change from 2.2:1 to 3.3:1. This would give an undue advantage to the Lok Sabha MPs regarding the elections of president and vice president. It also increases power of the Lok Sabha in the event of joint sitting of both the houses. For example, even if the opposition has a 2/3 majority in Rajya Sabha, the government may override this if it has 56% of seats in Lok Sabha. Article 108 of the Constitution provides this a joint sitting of a bill passed by a house in matters of if it is rejected by other is kept pending and if the house disagrees on amendment. There would also be increase in the size of the council of ministers. Because of the increase in the maximum number of MPs to be elected, there would automatically be increase in the number of ministers and council of ministers from 81st to 122. This would create an excessive burden on the government for providing the resources and the logistics issues. There would be much less opportunities for MPs to participate in the quality debates and to raise their concern regarding their constituencies because of the limited amount of time available to them, because the number of MPs would increase and the available time is much less. So there would be an compromise on the effectiveness of the MPs in their debates, and there is high chances that the MPs will not be able to address their constituencies issues properly. We also should consider that delimitation commission is not well defined in this bill. The Constitution Amendment Bill introduces the term delimitation commission, but the Constitution